All right, here we go. Time for the review video. I'm gonna try and go quick, and we'll get through this. So, first thing that you need to know is there's definitely going to be some information about prokaryote versus eukaryotes, because when you talk about bacteria, whether you're talking about the bacteria kingdom or you're talking about bacteria like we just did the last few days of the unit, it's important to review the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So remember, the big key: prokaryotes have no nucleus, no membrane-bound organelles, no nucleus. Anything about a membrane-bound anything, no way. So prokaryotes would not have a nuclear envelope. Prokaryote, because they don't have a nucleus. They wouldn't have an envelope around their nucleus if they don't even have a nucleus. So keep that in mind. Definitely review over the differences between prokaryote and eukaryote. I think that's hopefully ingrained in your brain pretty well. But again, prokaryote, no nucleus, smaller size, very primitive, not very complex. Eukaryote, it has a nucleus, larger size, lots of cell parts, lots of membrane-bound organelles. Okay. All right. Next up, let's talk about taxonomy. Remember, the big thing is taxonomy. The reason we do it is so that scientists can not have any confusion in the world, right? So that we know what we're talking about. There's a universal system. All organisms are classified, and they're the same scientific name, in Europe as they would be in the United States. Okay. The other thing we talked about taxonomy would be that whole idea of the funnel, right? So we have the funnel where we go kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And so kingdom is very broad, where species is very specific. We call those taxa. Each of those categories would be a taxa. The more taxa that two organisms share, okay, the more related those organisms are going to be. So on your review, you have a chart that has 4 different animals, and it asks you which 2 would be most closely related. Remember, the ones that share the most taxonomic categories are going to be the ones that are the most related. So if they share the same kingdom, the same phylum, same class, same order, and then another 2 only share the same kingdom and phylum, the first 2 are going to be the most related. Okay. Also with taxonomy comes dichotomous keys. Dichotomous keys, you've got to be able to use those to identify organisms. We practiced that. I think everybody did really well. If you want to come practice a little bit more, come in the morning. We can definitely try a few more and make sure that you are feeling good with those. You can come in the morning, come during WIN if you have me after first period. What else? So also with taxonomy, don't forget, as you look at those taxonomic categories, Carlin, if you're going to be in it, you got to hold on, okay? As you look at the taxonomic categories, as you go down from kingdom to species, there's more and more branches of those categories. So for instance, there's 6 kingdoms, right? And on the board today, I said, okay, there's 1 animal kingdom, but within that animal kingdom, there's 36 phylum. And then within that phylum, there's over like 2 million species of animals. So as you see, as you go down that funnel, there's more and more kind of individual pieces in each category, okay? Viruses, okay? Remember, viruses are non-living. Viruses are not alive. Viruses consist of a genetic material. They have a capsid, which is their protein code, and then they have sometimes they have an extra little envelope around them, okay, an extra little membrane. They also will have projections, either little legs or like little spike-looking things. Remember, we said from day one, anytime you see those projections, they're used for attachment to the host cell, okay? The main thing that the virus wants to do is use the host cell's machinery to reproduce, to replicate. There were 2 cycles. We said the lytic cycle. Lytic means sick. When the virus is in the lytic cycle, it's actually affecting the host cell. It's killing the host cell. Okay, it's replicating actively. It's bursting out of the host cell. It's killing the host cell. When it's in the lysogenic cycle, we said that's more like hibernation. Okay, it injects its DNA. The DNA gets incorporated into the host cell's DNA. and then whenever the host cell replicates, it replicates that viral DNA right along with it. Okay, let me flip through and make sure that we're feeling good. Bacteria, another thing with bacteria, remember they're not all harmful. Bacteria are most of the time very helpful. They help the environment by helping to decompose different organisms. When they do that decomposition, sometimes it's to offer food to organisms, sometimes it's to return nutrients back into the soil. So bacteria really, for ecosystems and for us, for lots of living things, are really, really good. So, you know, if somebody tried to tell you that, oh, bacteria, all of them are bad and all of them cause disease, that's not true at all. Okay, some of them do cause disease, but definitely not all of them. Most of them are actually very helpful. The other thing to remember is antibiotics, right? Antibiotics only affect bacteria. They don't have any effect on viruses at all. Okay. Talked about dichotomous keys. Let's go quick overview of the kingdom. So kingdom, archaebacteria. They live in extreme environments. They're single cellular. They're prokaryotic. Eubacteria. They are the bacteria that are all around us. They're single-celled. They're prokaryotic. Then we had protists. Protists are eukaryotic. Most of the time single-celled. They're like those little single-celled animals that live in the water. And they can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Then we had kingdom fungi. Fungus are multicellular, eukaryotic. They're heterotrophs. Remember, fungus eat. They absorb their food from dead, decaying material. Okay. Then we had kingdom plantae. Plants are eukaryotic. They are autotrophic. They're multicellular. You know what a plant is. Then you've got animal. Animals are modal. They can move around. They are multicellular, heterotrophs, eukaryotic. Again, those are the main things. I'll be there in the morning. I'll be there at Win. And Unicorn Princess, are you ready to come and say hello to everyone? What do you want to tell my students?
Good job.
I don't know. Something about unicorns, you said.
Hope you have a good job on the test.
That's very nice.
Then unicorns are the future animals. And then we have Lamb coming up with some news. Do not point. No, don't point the camera at me.
That's my life.
Wait. Stop. Why do you do that? Please be silent. Colin was screaming. I know that, but please stop following Colin.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
And
Blah, 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 blah. And yeah.